All righty. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening to board member eventually. And good evening, board member family. Thank you. All right, let's call it started. Would everyone please rise if you can for pledge allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I have a roll call, please?
Director Asner.
Here.
Director Moeller.
Here.
Vice President Steve.
Here.
President Cuneo.
Here.
Director Suda.
Here.
Director Sartorius.
Here. All righty. We're going to just a slight variation in the agenda tonight. Can we start with the approval of consensual items, please?
Second.
All right, can I have a vote on that, please?
Director Asner.
Yes.
Director Moeller.
Yes.
Vice President Staten.
Yes.
President Cuneo. Director Suda.
Yes.
Director Sartorius.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to proceed right now to the superintendent's reports, and then we'll go to the comments later. All right, I think family and community engagement presentation first. Could you please come up?
President Cuneo, Board of Directors. My name is Mala Bolton, and I am the Chief of Teaching, Learning, and Accountability. And this evening I have with me Adrian England, who is the Director of our Family and Community Engagement. So the purpose of this presentation this evening is to update the board on the activities that the Family and Community Engagement Division has been. Want to share our vision with you. So our mission is to partner with students, families, students' specialized academic, social, and emotional needs, and to promote self-determination, equitable opportunity, and inclusion. We also have our 5 standards. These are the National Family Engagement Standards, and we align all of our work with these 5 standards. So you can see those standards there. And you will remember last year we did a restructure and had some new folks that have been added to the team. So this is our organizational chart. So as you can see, we have Director of FACES, Adrian. We also have LaDonna Ellis, who is our Family Engagement Coordinator. Esther Beard, who is our Community Engagement Coordinator. And we have 3 family ambassadors, Deb Fiasco, Jessica Chambers, and Dana. And we just had a super exciting event that I just wanted to shout out. And actually our almost new board member attended, so that was really exciting. And so we had our family academy at New York. It was very well attended, very well received. The families were super excited. We had some awesome vendors and stuff. And so just wanted to share with you, it was just a really great day. I encourage you guys to attend the next one. With that, I am going to turn it over to Adrian.
So good evening, everyone. The FACE division has 3 major for this school year. Molly spoke about one, and that was about aligning all of our work to those 5 national standards of family engagement. And we report out via our data that all of our work is aligned to those standards. We also want to ensure that all of our offerings and opportunities for families do 2 things, that they increase their knowledge about the topic and also give them more confidence to utilize those strategies and supports. And so although we have a low response rate to digital surveys right now, our families are showing that there is a 98.6% that they agree and strongly agree At the event that Molly spoke about, the Family Academy, our division decided to make some shifts. Saying families aren't filling out the survey, so how can we get that right now feedback? And so we had over 50, 60 families show up and they gave us right now feedback, real time, using a consensogram. And they showed us that 100% they agreed the event was meaningful, it increased their knowledge, and the information they learned was valuable to their students. Our division also is very much aware that we have 24,000 families that we are serving, and we want to make sure that everyone within knows a little more about it. So if you want to hear about FACE, we're often in the communities in the evenings, Saturdays at events, really sharing with families the resources we have. So to date, we've had families reach out to us at tabling events and sign up to say, I want to know more. And those are the outreach numbers you see in front of you. From that, we've had 214 of those families register for events and offerings that we have. And we've also had 269 contacts with those families. That doesn't mean one time. It means we're actually spending time with families 3 or 4 times just to help them navigate special education process and community resources. Right? So when we talk about those 269, this is where they fall in requests. 75% of those who are contacting us are saying we need resources for our home or we need resources for our families, and how do we navigate that? And almost equal amount of those are coming from community agencies that are saying, how can we better collaborate with you or support you? How can you come out and tell us about your offerings? And then we do the same thing for schools, providing professional development about family engagement and evidence-based strategies. One of the things that we really wanted to improve from last year is how do we get outreach across the county? Some of our school districts were being served and some of them were not. So they didn't have any knowledge of us. So this year we can actually boast that we've provided services in all 22 school districts, including the leadership school, that we've supported all SSD schools and programs, North Tech High School, some SNAP families, and even previous graduates, but we still want to do more. Okay, so let me go to it again. The other thing is that we are reaching out to our community agencies and we're collaborating with them. If you've heard anything about our lunch and learns, we've invited 6 community agencies that families indicated in the last family engagement survey were very important to them. And that was the Department of Mental Health, the Department of Vocational Rehabilitation. We even have Metro coming out, and we've had Missouri Treasurer's Office to come out and talk about low able accounts. We also, with the support of North Tech's leadership, we have a family resource hub in the North Tech High School, and we provide support for families experiencing financial hardship. So there we have a satellite food pantry. That food actually comes from staff who do a food donation to us to support families in that space. We have had 50 unique families come out to that location, and they've also engaged with the Community Action Agency of St. Louis County to receive supports for utility assistance. Tim Eby often speaks to the board, and I want to just give him a shout out because Tim, for the last 5 years, and the Special Education Foundation have been providing food kits for our students during the winter and spring break. Those students have been identified as having food insecurity. And this year they have provided 326 food kits for families. That's an amazing collaboration with our vocational skills program, our warehouse, social work department, and FACE to make sure that we're meeting those needs for students. And then on March the 19th, we're going to be meeting with over 50 community partners in an agency collaboration meeting to really talk about how to better support our families and our community with an engagement opportunity. Right? And then we also are trying to figure out what are the ways that we're reaching families. And so the top 3 ways that families are saying that they're getting information about us is through our tabling or outreach with flyers and our social media. As you can tell, our communications department is doing an amazing job to support our division. Families are using the Spotlight newsletter. And then last but definitely not least, word of mouth. SSD staff sharing this information with families is still very valuable and important opportunity. So this is what's new in FACE. If you haven't heard yet, we are trying to reach out to families who are new to the evaluation process. We do that by sending them an email when they enter into our system. We also follow that up with a beautiful postcard that says, "You're welcome to attend a virtual open house." They can come to any of those virtual open houses quarterly, and they will hear about SSD, a small little tidbit, but we try to touch on all of our departments and supports. But we give them an opportunity to ask questions, and they also get information about the family toolkit. I think this is something that Dr. Cuneo said to us a while back and said, we need one place for families to go. And so we created a toolkit for families, a landing page where they can navigate a lot of the resources or requests that they have. And then on the far left, that's a tool that we created called Resources for Families or Supports for Families. A couple parents last year worked with me to create that list about recreation and SSD services and even government benefits. So it is printed, but it is also digital on our website for families. So these are our current projects. We have a new team, so we're continuing to build capacity with those team members to serve. We're also updating the district family handbook so that we can create ease of use and make it more concise. We're also using data and feedback from families from the survey, interviews, and focus groups to just improve programming for the future years. And we're working to support universal IEPs with families through the Charting the Life Course tools. And our outreach is always important to us, so we will continue in our next steps to identify and address gaps in service, outreach, and programming. We're going to improve our communication methods, and we want to reestablish community of practices to support collaboration with partner districts. That concludes.
Questions, anyone?
I just have a comment. I feel like I am on my way to getting like a #1 fan badge on the face page because it is just so engaging. I share it so much. I often get questions on social media in my inbox, and I'm like, look at this, look at this, look at this. I share with Voice of the People because they ask me a lot about SSD things. So it just feels like a rebranding. It's a beautiful page. It's like so informative. I'm really impressed.
I just have a comment. Personally, I have a son that is graduating hopefully at the end of this year, and we're looking at his next steps with the family planning and so forth. And the resources out there that you're all providing are just amazing. I look at vocational rehab. I don't know how many people realize they're in the schools with our special ed teachers providing those services to kids already. And he's been able to take advantage of that. Also, the Missouri Mental Health Program, signing up for that. I was on the phone today with someone from St. Louis Park. And most parents don't even start thinking about this till 2 or 3 years after their kids graduate. And it's like bringing those resources in earlier, getting them signed up before they turn 18 to keep them on Medicaid or services like that is very, very important. So the outreach you're doing is wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Next, Missouri Assessment Program, Matt.
So the next presentation that we have is presenting our state assessment results, and these will be the state assessment results from this 23-24 school year. With me, I have Dr. Matt Trauber, who is the Director of Evaluation and Research. All right, so just a little bit of background. So this presentation will be looking at the accountability ratings on students who are assessed on what we call the Missouri Assessment Program or the MAP program. The MAP, which is grades 3 through 8. We do have the MAP alternative, often called dynamic learning maps, which is for our students that are assessed or taught on the alternative standards. And those grades are again 3 through 8, and then also in 11th grade for accountability. Then our secondary students take end of course exams at the end of certain benchmark courses. And those courses are English 2, Algebra 1, or in the case that they took Algebra 1 as an 8th grader, it would be Algebra 2, Biology, and Government. One thing to note, the scores for the North Tech students, the full day students that we used to have now been removed from all the data that's presented because it's been long enough now that that data has been removed. As you might remember, that was phased out in the 22-23. And our growth scores are based on grade level math, grades 4 through 8, and the EOC. The growth scores do exclude the math. And turn it over to Matt.
Good evening. I did want to point out that there is a full report of these data that's in the box that describes all the results in much more detail than what's provided in this presentation. As a reminder, the MAP test, students can score in one of 4 performance levels. So advanced, proficient, basic, and below basic. This report primarily focuses on the percent of students that score between those ranges of basic and proficient. So these results are overall results, so they include students that take each of those 3 types of the state assessment that were described on the prior slide. In English Learning Arts in 2023-24, about a quarter of students scored in that basic range or higher, which was similar to the year prior to that. 16.8% were basic or better in math, which was somewhat lower than the prior year. 22% were basic or better in science, which represents an increase over the prior year. We also had an increase in that percent in the area of social studies, so that was a pretty substantial gain. As a reminder, the social studies result is based solely on a government end of course exam. This is just a chart of those data that I described that allows you to see the trends in these results over a period of 3 years. The next couple slides break the results down a little bit further by test type. This slide shows results specifically for MAP A. That's the alternative assessment typically taken by students who have significant cognitive disabilities. Results there, we had 12.4% of students perform in the basic range or higher in the area of English language arts, which is a slight decrease relative. 6% of students scored in that range in math, which is similar to the prior year, and then 16.8% scored basic or higher in science, which is an increase. Sometimes we take a look at the results for the Missouri schools for this year and say this test, given the relative comparability of our student population that takes it. And in 23-24, SSD scored, their scores were somewhat higher than the Missouri schools for this year and say. So in contrast, these are the results for students who participate in the standard curriculum. We had 36% of students perform in the basic range of English language arts, which is an increase. Around a quarter of students basic or higher in math, which was a decrease. And then we increased our performance again in both science and social studies for this group of students over the prior year. A look at how results compare and vary depending upon students' demographic groups, like their race/ethnicity group, or whether they participate in the free and reduced lunch program. Overall, the results across those groups are pretty comparable. You see some moderate differences when you really dig into the data, but big picture, regardless of who the group of student is and their performance on average seems to be pretty. The map also provides a growth metric. The growth metric might actually be a little bit more meaningful for SSD than those performance level results, because many of our students are performing towards the lower end of that spectrum, and you can see if they're growing or not. So this is calculated based on growth over just a single year. Results from the prior year and the current year that the test is taken are compared. So in both English language and arts, our students did grow relative to what is expected based on a statistical formula. That growth was greater in math several years now. When you look at individual schools, you see that some schools are actually, on average, their students are growing quite a bit.
So as we look at our next steps and what we'll be doing, we will be continuing with our academic data teams at each school, really focused on the benchmark data as well as progress monitoring data and discussions of students who might need more intensive interventions. We will be continuing the small group targeted interventions in both the area of math and literacy. And we do have content-based interventionists, meaning we have interventionists specifically for math that have math certification, as well as reading that have reading certification. So those interventionists will be continuing. Also, you might remember from previous presentations to the board by Kevin Ander and Dr. Grigsby that we have applied for an innovation waiver from the Department of from DESE. We are still waiting to hear when that might be proposed, but that is also part of our next steps is we have to follow that through.
The math test is for ELA and for math, right? There's math tests that are divided by the state for those two areas. What about, and I know science you said was the state test that for just for social studies.
So science is grades 5, 8, and 11.
That's a math test.
And then, well, actually 5 and 8. And then the end of course exam for science is biology. So it would depend on what grade level they took biology in. And then social studies, the only one is the government test, which is done when they complete the government.
What I'm seeing is the state mandated math testing. It seems like both areas we score low on. But yet, when you look at end of the year course exams in science and the social studies, we're doing much better. And again, the science is, the social studies, the science are developed by the teachers and given, where the other one's a state mandated test that has no validity or lack of.
Actually, all of them are there is legislation that says all the tests have to have writers from teachers in Missouri. And they're all by the state.
But they're different. The math tests are much different, but the end of the year course exam, that's one test, and the social studies test, right? Because it's a one-time test.
It would be grades 5, 8, and yeah, it's not every year like ELA and math.
I'm just concerned about the math testing in itself and how valid it is in predicting kids' abilities. And concerns me, especially when you look at our scores, I don't think they accurately show what our kids are doing.
Well, and I think one of the main things we really focus on is that growth. And you'll see year after year, we do exceed our growth targets. Where they think our students are going to grow, they grow more. You know, many of our students, by the time they come to us in our SSD schools, they are sometimes 3, 4, 5 grade levels behind. So, and the growth is so important. We want to see more than a year's worth of growth in a year to start closing them.
Thank you for this presentation. Do we have a time at the moment so I can hear about the innovation waiver?
We are still following up. The last we heard is that would get us on the state board agenda to be heard. But we have not heard. Keep following up.
Does any delay in approval or response affect our accreditation anyway or anything like that?
So we're still held to the same accreditation standards as we would normally be. And so that will stand until the innovation waiver is.
Or side, yeah, so we get a response. Correct.
Hey, on the increases and decreases that were shown, were any significant?
Sorry. I didn't hear the full.
when there was an increase and decrease over the years. My problem is, was it noise or was it significant?
Some are pretty modest. There are a few that were fairly significant, like
At what
in
level?
a few areas of science. Didn't necessarily look at statistical significance.
Should we, this is one of the requests, is when numbers are presented like that, what happens, I never know if it's noise or what's going on, or if it's, whether it's the standard deviation is what, let me know, or let the board know and let other people know whether this is a significant difference. Because if not, I'm not sure what that, I know what's an increase and what's a decrease, but I don't know if this is a significant difference. That would be helpful.
We can do that.
There may be in the report that's part of our packet, and is one of the action items. There may be a comment on that, but per my reading, the statements here, because the changes because of Z-score, it's implying that it is significant if it's anything other than 0.
Not necessarily.
No.
Yeah, it wouldn't necessarily imply statistical significance.
Residual Z-scores above 0 exceed predicted performance for individual students.
Could-
And so
Usually standardized,
Yeah.
if we could just do everything at an 05 level, I think that's pretty standard. If, when we do the statistical analysis, tell us, is this been a significant difference going an increase or a decrease from year to year? And if we would just use 05 as it just as a norm, unless somebody tells me different, if somebody wants something different, I think that's pretty standard in most, at least in most articles that I read. But it would give us much more information.
Sure. Yeah, we can certainly.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we need to vote on action items. Would someone like to make a motion to approve the map report?
Like so move that we approve the map report as presented.
second.
Tom, we got question seconds. Can I have a
Any discussion?
discussion on this? Have a roll call?
Director Asner,
Yes.
Director Mueller,
Yes.
Vice President Staten,
Yeah.
President Cuneo,
Yes.
Director Suda,
Yes.
Director Sartorius.
Yes.
6.02 fiscal year 2025 final bus route approval. Would someone like to make a motion to approve?
Motion by Suda. Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All right, can I have a roll call? No, motion to approve. Can I have a motion to approve?
We did.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
All opposed? Motion carries. Budget adjustment, business and finance, 6.03, motion to approve.
Second.
Discussion? None? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. 7.01, would someone like to make a motion for a closed meeting of the Board of Education on Tuesday, March 11th?
No, April 8th.
Pardon me. What is that? I can't read that.
April 8th.
Okay, April 8th. I've got- On April 8th at 7 PM or whenever the meeting is in. So make that motion.
So
Second.
All right, and a roll call, please.
Director Asner,
yes.
Director Mueller, Vice President Staten,
Yeah.
President Cuneo,
Yes.
Director Suda,
Yes.
Director Sartorius.
Yeah.
All right. Governing Council. Or pardon me. Next, Board Communications, anyone?
Yes. So today was Missouri School Board Association Advocacy Day at the Missouri State Capitol. So Dr. Macklin and I and several members of staff were there. And we were able to hear about current legislation. And then we were able to provide some feedback to some of our legislators. So we met directly and had good conversations with Representative Brad Pollitt, I think, Senator Tracy McCreary and Senator Brian Williams, and really just asked them to advocate for public schools and for the needs of our students. Making sure that they are framing the needs of students with special needs as well. So it's really a great opportunity to go visit our legislators, and we're encouraged to remain engaged and to keep advocating and to let them know what we need, because as we know, our legislators are elected at large, and no single legislator is an expert on medicine and infrastructure and education. So they do listen to and value our feedback. So
Thank
it's
you.
very worthwhile.
Thank you for working it through. Anyone else? All right, governing council election results. Is there a motion to approve the governing council election result? Is there a second? Yes. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. We have a board vacancy. Sub-District 4, not you yet. We were welcoming you, but we will. The governor also announced there are no candidates for Sub-District 4. And as such, the vacancy will be addressed by the Board of Education as per policy BBE and regulation BBR. Doesn't feel like you're playing bingo when you do that. Okay. Information regarding the process will be on our website beginning tomorrow. And anyone with questions may contact Tom Giles, our board secretary, at tgiles@ssdmo.org. Now, this is the highlight of the evening. I now invite Aaron to the podium, please. And ask Tom to administer the oath of office to Aaron Beaver. And then I will turn the gavel over to Dr. Macklin. Good, perfect timing. As per regulation, to preside over the election of board officers. This is you. Great, not yet. It's soon.
Aaron Weaver,
I, Erin Beaver,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
or affirm that I will support
or affirm that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of school director
of school director
in and for special school district
in and for Special School District
of St. Louis County, Missouri,
of St. Louis County, Missouri,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
according to law.
according to so help me God.
Please help. Get photos.
And photos later of her. I would like her daughter and her husband also.
Aaron is now here to participate in the board reorganization. We will now enter into the stage of board reorganization.
Can I have one more? So,
Yes.
see, we didn't have a board comment. Pardon me, we didn't have comments from there. And I
Public
have
comment.
one in public comment. I have one that is still at Tim.
Evening, I'm Tim Eby, the Executive Director of the Special Education Foundation, and I want to address the board calendar that is on the agenda for tonight, only to share with you the Inspiring Futures celebration that's coming up on Tuesday, April 29th, 2025. This celebration is hosted by the Special School District and the Special Education Foundation to celebrate SSD student achievers. These students will be among this year's recipients. We will have 5 John Kerry Scholarship awardees from the Special Education Foundation, 1 Christopher Davis Scholarship awardee from SEF, the Jane Vickery Leadership Scholarship, which is a new scholarship from the Special Education Foundation, totaling $32,500 that SEF will be providing. SSD will also be awarding the Rosemary Zander Award, the James Westbury Memorial Scholarship, the Allison Hickey Memorial Scholarship, and the Bonham Lions Club Scholarship. The event will take place at the St. Louis County Library, Lindbergh Branch, beginning at 6 p.m. on April 29th. The 5 winners of the John Kerry Scholarship from SEF are Adam Abdullah from Parkway West High School, Vivian Lane from Afton High School. Vivian is also a graduate of our Fredside Leadership Program. Austin Christensen from Webster Groves High School. Ian McDowell from Dayspring Arts and Education and North Tech. He will graduate from Rittner School as well. And Zion Norman from McClure High School in the Berg Florida District. Our recipient for the Christopher Davis Scholarship is Janisha Rittner High School. This scholarship is awarded to a special education student from Rittner in honor of Christopher Davis, a young man who received SSD services several years ago. His mom and dad want to remember him and scholarship each year. And a new scholarship that we're offering to one of our graduates from our Fredside Leadership Program is named in honor of Jane Vickery. Jane was a longtime board member of SEF and very involved in our Fredside Leadership Academy. She passed away last year, and we have started this scholarship, $5,000 scholarship in her honor. And this year's winner is Lila Durham from Brentwood High School. Also, I just wanted to take a note and thank Scott Mueller, Director Mueller, for your incredible work on this board. Thank you for your service. Welcome to Aaron Beaver, our new Board of Education member. Here's the annual report from us, so you can find out all that SEF is doing. And I don't want to give away the headlines that are coming up, but I want to thank President Cuneo for his service as board president, and I know you'll say on the board, and to Ms. Stanton for her time as vice president, and I think there are big things ahead. So thank you very much for all you do, and SEF is here as a great partner.
Thank you, Tim. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
So we're now going to enter into the board reorganization, and then after that, we're going to go into the Board of Education recognition. Welcome, Aaron Beaver. Is there anything you would like to say before we move forward?
Thank you for welcoming me, and I look forward to working with you all and getting to know you. I look forward to serving my community.
Great, thank you. Item 8.04, election of the president of the Board of Education for Special School District. Is there a motion to nominate the board director to serve as president?
I nominate Carmen Staten.
Second. Any? You third that? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. President Carmen will have a chance to say a few words here just a little bit later in the reorganization here. 8.05, election of the vice president. Is there a motion to nominate the board of directors to serve as vice president?
Go ahead. Dr. Dan.
Say.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Eight point zero six, election of the secretary. Is there a motion to nominate Tom Giles to serve as the board secretary,
I nominate Tom Giles.
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Is there a motion to nominate CFO Cindy Rowland to serve as the board treasurer?
Make that recommendation.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Let's give a round of applause for our reorganization of the board candidate. I am proud to congratulate Carmen Staten and his appointment, President Carmen here, as the new president of SSD Board of Education. This marks a historic milestone as she becomes the first person of color to ever hold this position in SSD's 68-year history. So, her leadership and dedication will undoubtedly make a lasting impact on our students and staff and community. President Carmen?
Okay, can you all be patient with me as I read these words? I am, overwhelmed with love and support from all of my people. You know, my people. Okay. Good evening. I stand before you today, deeply honored to serve as the president of the Special School District Board of Education. This moment is not just personal milestone, but a testament to the collective efforts of so many who have worked tirelessly to advocate to advance equity and excellence in education. First and foremost, I want to thank past President Dr. Dan Cuneo and Katie Patroff, as well as Superintendent Dr. Michael Macklin. Dr. Cuneo, your mentorship has helped shape my board leadership. Katie, your dedication has strengthened this district, and Dr. Macklin, your leadership remains a guiding force for SSD, and I appreciate your commitment to our students and staff. Tonight, I assume this role, I do so with a profound sense of responsibility to our students, families, and staff. I recognize that I'm the first person of color to hold this title, and that significance is not lost on me. Growing up, my mother, grandmother, and aunts instilled me 3 core values: use your voice, take up space, and advocate for what is right for those who cannot. To any young person watching today, I am history. And there is so much more history to be made. Your voice matters, your presence is powerful, and your advocacy can shape the future. In 2019, the SSD Public Review Board made recommendations for this district to implement equitable access to resources, including equitable staffing. Transitions like these take time, intentionality, and courage. Change is often uncomfortable, but it is necessary if we are truly to meet the needs of every student we serve. Call to action today is for all members of the SSD community and beyond to recognize these growing pains as essential steps in building a district that ensures all students thrive. I am eager to collaborate with my fellow board members, Dr. Macklin, and the dedicated SSD staff to ensure that students across St. Louis County have the resources, support, and opportunities they need to reach their full potential. Our work is far from finished, but together, with commitment and vision, we can create a future that is equitable, inclusive, and full of possibility for every student. Thank you for entrusting me with this responsibility. Let's move forward together. Thank you.
Thank you, President Carmen. Vice President Cuneo, thank you for your dedication and leadership to the board. At this time, would you like to say any words?
Again, I think this is I think Carmen, our board will be in good hands. I'm sorry for you to leave, Scott. Maybe you can stay, until we get a replacement. I keep saying that, he keeps looking at me like he has other things to do, but, I was glad to see you on the board. I'm sure we'll do well, and I'm sure you'll do well. Thank you.
Now we are going to step into the phase of recognition. I would first like to recognize Katie Patroff. Katie Patroff, would come forward. Moment to express our deep gratitude to Katie Patroff for her dedicated service to our students, staff, and community as the board president and representative for Subdistrict 3, covering the Parker School District. Since joining the board in March of 2019, Katie's been a steadfast advocate for ensuring that all students receive the resources and opportunities. Vision and passion and commitment has made a lasting impact on our district, and we truly are grateful for her and her service. On behalf of the entire SSD school community, we thank Katie for her years of education and wish her all the best in the future.
Thank you.
As a small token of our appreciation, we'd like to present you a clock to memorialize your time on the board that you have dedicated over the years. Thank you for your service. If I could.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'd like to thank the Academy. My son started in Litzinger in October of 2014, which was our start of the SSD journey for us. I started on the board to help give back to SSD in March of 19. And it's been a whirlwind. I don't know where our family would be without SSD. All make a difference. Teachers, paras, everyone, OT, everyone. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm glad I could give back the way I could. And yeah, thank you. And Tommy graduates on Wednesday, May 14th, and new order.
Say, we're gonna have Director Moeller, Scott Moeller, you come to the podium, please. Thank you. I want to express our gratitude to Scott Moeller for his dedicated service as the board director for Subdistrict 4, representing Ferguson, Florissant, Pattonville, Riverview Garden School Districts. Since March of 2021, Scott has been a strong advocate for teachers and staff, bringing valuable insight from his background as a history teacher. His understanding of St. Louis history and the impact on education has helped shape important discussions around equity and access. We appreciate his dedication to ensuring all students receive the resources what they need, and we thank him for his service to our district tonight. Again, let's say please to Scott Moeller.
And written something up in Google Docs, and it's loading right now. So I have to read this. A hearty congratulations to you, President Statement. Pardon, you're dedicated, your passion is forward. Appreciate your presence here. A hearty welcome to you, Director of the other wonderful people. So congratulations. Selection. Looks like I can't open my document. To basically go through a list of all of the people across the districts that I really appreciate. Wanted to thank the people here in this room, the fellow board of directors here. It's been wonderful working with each of you. Thank our tech supports, our administrative team. You guys have been amazing. Our assigners in the back, shout out to Miss Curie. I work closely with her. The security outside. Honestly, everybody, it's very evident this is a team effort. It really is. I think about day-to-day in the school settings. I think about the bus drivers with their with their special fist bumps to the kids getting on. Think about the nurses who are helping with the scraped knees. I think about the certified staff and paras who are really building kids, because that's where the real difference is made. Those are the front lines. So it's been honestly representing District 4. It's been a great honor and a great pleasure to represent the folks up there and to be a small part of this great team effort. Dr. Macklin, to you, all due respect, everything you've done. I know since I joined the board, I felt a connection, and I really have tremendous respect for all the work that you're doing here. It's so important. So I wanted to also say something to our fellow other stakeholders, and it's not going to open up, and taxpayers out there. This is a tremendous investment. All of the folks here at SSD deserve your attention and support. They're doing amazing work. They really are. So to all of them, I want to thank all of them for contributions to our kids. I don't have a better investment whatsoever. So thank you.
In addition, we also are celebrating school board recognition. Jen Henry is at the podium, and then I will say a few words after Jen Henry concludes.
Good evening, Board. I'm Jennifer Henry, Chief Communications Officer for SSD, and I'm honored tonight to be here on behalf of the students, staff, and community to recognize you and thank you for your service during School Board Recognition Week as designated by the state of Missouri. Your dedication and advocacy, the countless hours of volunteer service that you dedicate each year make a meaningful impact on the lives of the students and families that we serve. Your leadership helps shape the future of education in our district, ensuring that every student has access to the resources that they need to thrive. As a small gesture of our gratitude, we'd like to present you each with a small card and token of our appreciation. I'll be passing out here in just a moment, but each bag will contain a card with some artwork designed by one of our students. We'll have an SSD branded folio so you can represent SSD wherever you go. And then also includes a sweet treat. And then we also have some certificates from the Missouri School Boards Association and a small pin so that you can also probably wear those wherever you go as well to show that you're a school board member. So thank you so much for your unwavering commitment to SSD, our staff, and our families. Thank you.
While Jennifer Henry hands out your gifts, I do want to take just a brief moment to recognize and thank our incredible Board of Education for their dedication and service to students, to our staff and community. I want you to know your leadership and commitment has helped shape the future of education in this district, ensuring that every student has access to resources and opportunities that they need. We appreciate the countless hours, yes, volunteer hours are what they are called, yes, countless hours that you invest in making thoughtful decisions and supporting our school. We're here for the passion and advocacy. Please join me again in celebrating our board members here for their achievements. I also see a couple of individuals in the audience tonight who I would like to recognize and say if they want to say a few words. I see just a couple of superintendent legends who have really shaped the landscape of St. Louis. Dr. Karen Hall, who was in the back. Dr. Donna Jenkins, please stand. I see you there. Please stand. Please stand. Governing Council President Keisha Lee, can you please stand? President Carmen, she knows how to fill a room. So we appreciate you guys here and being here for these pieces. And now, going to turn the gavel over to President Carmen.
Is there a motion to adjourn? Wait.
Usually what happens at the end, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, we usually personally thank the people that say it, and I would ask you, Scott, I'm gonna miss you, I still think you should come back. You said today that you like the food, I'll make sure that you can still eat here. Okay, but. Yeah, I mean, Joe's gonna eat your 3 wings. But in all honesty, it was a pleasure working with you, thank you, and I'd like to let everyone take a chance to say goodbye.
Scott, I love what Dr. Macklin said about how much of an advocate you are and the context to education and education history in the city. And I think you have been bold in talking about equity. I will say in many spaces that it is impossible to talk about education in St. Louis without talking about race. And you have never been hesitant to bring up the conversation of race and equity. And I appreciate you for continuing to be an advocate for all children. Your voice will certainly be missed. Yeah, it has been an absolute pleasure.
Yes, Katie and Scott, thank you. I just joined this board last year. I felt welcomed immediately. I know I joined a work in progress. And I appreciate all of the groundwork that you have laid for us to stand on as we move forward. And both of you are here because of your dedication to the students and the staff and this cause. And it doesn't get any better than that. Thank you so much for sharing your passion for this work with us. We will miss. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Just having you on the board.
Oh.
It was a real pleasure working with you these past years. And I appreciate your humor and your perspective and your excitement and advocacy for the kids. Thank you.
I miss Tommy's story. I miss Tommy's story.
But it's been a real pleasure serving on the board. Very happy.
Katie, I'm the last one, so I don't want to belabor the point, but being a parent of a child going through special school district, you have firsthand knowledge of what kids need. And I really feel that from you, having kids also in the district. It's so important to hear from parents and try to provide the best we can. We're not perfect, but we're gonna do the best we can. We've shown that. And you made me feel so welcome when I joined the board. So thank you for that. Really appreciate it. And Scott, what can I say? All of his home projects are gonna get done now. That's what I've been asking him to do.
And I have a puppy to play with too.
And a puppy to play with. But the time that Scott and others put on the board, it's unbelievable. And again, it's volunteer. And it's learning about what the needs are and listening to folks. To make sure we can address their needs as best we can. And Scott, being in school all day long with kids and then having to talk about them all night. I don't know how you do that, but you've done a great job with it. So thank you so much.
Now we shouldn't get.
All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.